How do you design a directionless website? That was the task we set forth with the Akimbo Type Foundry project, so check it out in this video. Let's be clear, pen lens design is work that I do for clients and enter the world for them, with them, together as manipulating culture and creating culture together with clients. Akimbo Type Foundry is also stuff that I make, but it's more of a creative practice, some speculative work, and ways to just get better and practice at being a designer. So this is a project for and by myself, but there are some caveats that make this work really fun and really interesting. Now, the Akimbo Type Foundry isn't constrained to any sort of capital gains or financial prowess. It doesn't need to make money. That's a strict rule that I've set for myself in that. And mostly it's for learning and for making work that can enter the world and critique the world and speculate on what visual forms can be. So that was some of the headspace going into this website design project. Now, if you followed anything the Akimbo Work does, you'll know that it's very speculative. It includes live streaming type design process on Twitch. It includes building type specimens as face filters for Instagram or Snapchat or whatever else. It includes making type into GIFs so that you can use those in Instagram stories and seeing how those things interrelate. It includes talks that happen across the globe, and it includes breaking and rebuilding the variable font format. So all of these things are pushing technology and thinking through ways that our visual and graphic design prowess can critically engage the vessels around us. So with that in mind, thinking through a website is very different than a normal website. When I'm thinking through a website for a client or for a product or those types of things, we're thinking of very specifically of how we speak of a brand to somebody and how we drive them to an ultimate goal, which is to book a product, to buy a service. Any of those sort of outcomes generally referred to as funnels, and our websites help us do those types of things. For Akimbo, however, there's very different. I don't need them to go anywhere. I'm not interested in driving them to a certain typeface or letting them land on a talk or a video live stream or a YouTube replay or the GIFs that don't do anything. Any of those things and all of those things are things that we're interested in putting forward in this website experience. It was also important in the Akimbo website project to make this experience speculative itself. At the top of the artboard for this project, set in all caps in every typeface that I've ever designed, it's all about type. It's all about speculative type. And so thinking through that really drove the design behind the Akimbo website. First, to break up the sort of linearity of the web and that really sort of boring, you scroll up and down and you get presented materials in this linear order, the canvas of the Akimbo website is like 3 or 4 times larger than the viewport of your screen. So it allows you to scroll in any and all directions at any given time. The other thing that happens in that is that it was built with this very modular grid. So there are 1x1 squares, there are 2x2 squares, 2x3s, 3x3s, and I think 3x3 is the sort of largest grid. And then it's all modulated together so that we can have a consistency that holds that content together, enough predictability that somebody isn't going to get too overwhelmed. But then each of those acts as little containers that we can fill with any sort of information that I want to. So in some containers and in most containers, you'll see type, right? It'll be typefaces that is designed, typefaces that are being offered for sale, but not at any sort of a profit. And then other things that are like GIFs that are spinning around, or a spacing calculator, which is a free resource for other people who are designing fonts, or even word links or talks, or all of that content I said at the beginning that just sort of like acts as this confessional screen behind what's going on in the background, which is this like face filter recording. All of those things layer on top of one another to create this really rich and really discoverable website interaction. Now, as users navigate throughout the website, they dive deeper. They'll find type specimen pages, they'll find blog post style pages, And all of those things are typeset quite a bit differently. They're all custom built, so they don't come from any sort of a template like most of our sites do. But what that does is it funnels people into a user experience that they're more familiar with. So right away, users are faced with this experience that's unlike anything that's ever gone on. It's not directing them anywhere. It's not telling them to go left or right or to click here. It's sort of all screaming for attention. And we like to say this: if everything is screaming for attention, then nothing is. And that's really the way that this homepage works. But then every page after that does a more traditional format and funnels you into that content that you can read more about, or you can watch a video, or you can download GIFs or whatever sort of resources. And so it does eventually function as a real website. But this homepage is really what was fun and most interesting in this project. I am happy to say that I submitted this work to a Webby, and it's been nominated as an honoree, which means that it didn't quite make that cut, but it's something that I'm really pleased about. As an independent studio, as a small one-man band at the moment, I'm really pleased to be on the same page as Apple. Those are really, accomplishments that I'm proud of, and speaks to the outcome of this project, which is it's all about type. It's all about speculative type, right? The practice is to sort of break the norms that we're used to, and in a competition like the Webbies, or an award platform like the Webbies rather, that's how you sort of stand out and makes for an interesting design brief. So our design brief, that making it and breaking the internet, really led to this really wonderful outcome and this lovely website that I don't know what's going to happen next with it, but it will continue to speculate on the forms that we're used to seeing on the internet.